Check this out. That moment. An email from your boss lands in your inbox. The subject is feedback, but when you open it, it feels more like a list of everything you did wrong. Or maybe you post something online, and that one sharp comment shows up, pointing out a flaw in your appearance or your opinion. Even worse, a relative, with that good intention we all know, drops a constructive criticism bomb that dismantles a life choice you made. What's the first thing you feel? That heat rising in your chest? Your mind immediately going into defense mode? Your heart starting to race? For most of us, criticism feels like an attack, a personal assault that threatens our competence, our worth, our identity. Our default reaction is to shield up, deny, justify, counterattack. We leave the interaction hurt, resentful, replaying it in our minds for hours, sometimes days. We're fragile as hell. But what if this default reaction of ours is just plain wrong? What if criticism, instead of being a guided missile to obliterate your self-esteem, was actually a dumbbell, a training tool to strengthen your soul? What if, instead of being fragile and breaking on impact, we could be something way more badass? Antifragile. This concept, made famous by Nassim Taleb, is about systems that benefit from chaos, stress, and attacks. They don't just resist damage, they get better and stronger because of it. And this idea, my friend, is pure Stoic juice. Today on StoicPunch, we're giving you the manual to become a Stoic anti-fragile. We're going to pop the hood and understand why criticism hurts so much, and then we'll equip you with a mental toolkit to turn every attack into a learning opportunity, every insult into a stepping stone to wisdom. Get ready to stop fearing criticism and start using it as fuel for your growth. First, to build the armor, we got to understand the arrow and why our skin is so thin. The pain of criticism works on multiple levels. On the most primitive level, the whole thing is biological. Our ancient brain, with its ever-watchful amygdala, sees a harsh criticism as a social threat. For our ancestors, being criticized or rejected by the group could mean exile and death. So that fight or flight response, the racing heart, the instant defensiveness, is just an echo of that old operating system trying to save you from being kicked out of the cave. But the real drama is psychological. This is where the wound gets deep. First, you've got the ego's defenses. The ego is that part of us that lives for status and validation. When it gets criticized, it immediately throws up its shields. Denial, that's a lie, this person has no idea what they're talking about. Justification, well, I only did that because of this other thing, it's not my fault. And the classic counterattack, who are they to talk? They're way worse. These are like momentary painkillers that prevent the real wound from healing. Second, the pain is tied to our source of self-worth. If our self-esteem depends on external validation, that applause addiction we've talked about, then every criticism is a direct threat to our very foundation. If you need others to tell you you're good to feel good, then logically, when someone tells you you're bad, your sense of worth crumbles. You basically hand over the remote control to your emotions to anyone with a keyboard. Third, there's the injustice fallacy. A lot of the time, we get pissed off because we feel the criticism was unfair. I didn't deserve that. The feeling of injustice is a powerful emotional trigger. But a Stoic would give you a straight-talk reminder. Expecting the world to be fair to you all the time is a childish fantasy, and it's a recipe for constant frustration. And finally, the most crucial factor. Criticism hurts the most when it latches on to a pre-existing insecurity. An insult about something you're totally confident in rarely affects you. But if the criticism targets that exact weak spot you were trying to hide, that secret fear you have about yourself, then the poison finds an open wound. The external criticism just confirms your own worst self-criticism, and that hurts like hell.
All right, we've diagnosed the problem. Now for the solution. Stoicism is our forge for turning a fragile mind into an anti-fragile one. The principle that fuels this forge is always the same, the dichotomy of control. The criticism, the words, the other person's intention, all of that, my friend, is external and uncontrollable. Trying to change it is like punching water. Where's your power? In your assessment of that criticism, in your emotional reaction, and in your decision whether or not to learn from it. This space, and only this space, is where you are the master. With that in mind, let's get to the tools. The first tool is the triage of criticism, the rational filter. A Stoic isn't a punching bag. They're an intelligent bouncer. They don't let just anyone into their mind. They run a 3-step check at the door. Step 1, check the source. As Epictetus taught, who's talking? Does this person have knowledge and experience on the subject? Are their intentions constructive, or are they just a hater? If the source isn't credible, their words have the weight of a feather. Filter and discard. Step 2, separate the message from the messenger. Was the delivery terrible? Was the person rude, aggressive, sarcastic? That's the noise. Ignore the noise for a second. Is there inside that toxic packaging a message, a piece of data, an objective fact? Learn to separate the what was said from the how it was said. Often the most useful truths come in the ugliest packages. Step 3, test the message against virtue. After you've isolated the clean message, ask yourself, this information, if it's true, does it help me be a better person? Does it help me become wiser, more just, more courageous, or more temperate? If the answer is yes, then you've struck gold. If the answer is no, if it's just a personal preference or empty malice, it's irrelevant to your life's purpose. Discard it.
The second tool is the practice of objective representation. This is a fancy name for a simple, powerful Stoic exercise. See events for what they are, stripped of your emotional drama. My boss humiliated me in front of everyone and thinks I'm an idiot, is your drama-filled version. The objective representation is, my boss raised his voice and listed dissatisfactions with the data presented in the report. The first version makes you a victim and generates anger. The second makes you an observer and allows you to analyze the problem. What were the specific dissatisfactions? Was the data wrong? Practicing this translation of events into neutral, objective language removes the emotional sting and allows you to act with reason, not with a wounded ego. The third and most powerful tool is the antifragile reframe, turning poison into medicine. This is where you truly flip the script. This is where you don't just survive criticism, you use it to thrive. There are 2 scenarios. Scenario A. The criticism is valid. If, after your analysis, you see there's truth to the criticism, then celebrate. Seriously, you just got a free consultation from an expert in your weak spots. Your critic, even if they meant to harm you, just gave you the map to your next level of growth. Be grateful, internally, of course, for the lesson. Correct your course and get stronger. The criticism didn't break you, it built you. Scenario B, the criticism is invalid. If you concluded that the criticism was just noise, malice, or ignorance, you also have a golden opportunity. Not a chance to learn about the topic, but a chance to practice the Stoic virtues. You get a chance to practice patience with difficult people, temperance in controlling your anger, courage to stand firm in your conviction, and justice by not responding with the same toxicity. Every unfair criticism is a workout in your soul's gym. You leave the interaction not with less, but with more strength of character. When you integrate this mindset, your life changes color. You stop walking on eggshells, afraid of what others might think or say. You develop a confidence that isn't arrogant, but serene, because it's not based on being perfect, but on your ability to handle and grow from imperfection, both yours and others. The benefits are huge. Your personal and professional growth accelerates at a stunning rate because you become a learning machine, open to the feedback that others fear. Your confidence becomes unshakable because it stems from within, from your ability to self-analyze and your commitment to virtue, not from the fragile need for applause. Your emotional serenity increases as the words of others lose their power to hijack your peace, and your relationships improve because you become a better listener, a more secure and less defensive person, capable of having difficult conversations with the goal of understanding, not of winning. The fragile person is broken by criticism. The resilient person endures it. The anti-fragile Stoic is grateful for it and uses it to become stronger. The choice of which one to be is yours, and it's made in every moment with every piece of feedback that life presents to you. The practical challenge for you this week is this. The next time you receive a piece of criticism, big or small, pause. Breathe. Do not react. Instead, take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and run it through the triage of criticism. Write it down. What's the source? What's the objective message? Does it help me practice virtue? See what happens to your emotional reaction when you apply reason before emotion.
If this guide to forging an anti-fragile mind has given you new armor, if it's given you a punch of clarity against the fear of judgment, then smash that like button. Subscribe to Stoic Punch for more strategies of empowerment, and hit the notification bell. Remember, what others say about you is their story. How you react and what you learn from it is your story. This is Stoic Punch. Be the author of your story. Be anti-fragile.